achieving all that you want to achieve, and you think, how did they get the confidence to do that? Or maybe you look at them and think, oh, I never have the confidence to do that. These people have expanded the limits of their experience and what's comfortable for them. They've expanded their comfort zone. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about expanding your comfort zone and why it's so important in building our confidence. I'm going to be talking about what a comfort zone is, what it is set by, and thirdly, how we can expand it and build our confidence. So, as many of you know, if you've seen me do a speech before where I use a flip chart, I'm no good at drawing. So imagine that is you, and this is your comfort zone. So your comfort zone is safe, it's familiar territory, it's things that you've done many times before and you feel quite comfortable in doing them. So what is the comfort zone? The comfort zone is your realm of experience where you've done things many, many times. Everything outside of your comfort zone is alien territory. It's unfamiliar. Now, what your comfort zone is and what it is set by are two different things. So I want you to think about at the moment for you, where the limits of your comfort zone are. And can anybody tell me at the moment something that they think is currently outside of their comfort zone? Yeah. Yes, Stuart?
Taking drugs.
Right, okay. Anybody else?
Singing.
Singing. Okay. Anybody else? Has
Bungee
anybody else got
jumping.
one? Something that's outside the comfort zone. Either they've never done it before or they've not had much experience of it.
Dancing in front of a large crowd.
Okay. Dancing.
I'm large.
Okay. I'm going to give you one of mine, and I'm going to put it about here because I can do it, but I'm not that comfortable with it yet. It's driving.
Really?
Yeah, I can drive, but I share a car with my partner, and my comfort zone is about a mile radius out around my house, so I'm not too comfortable with it yet. Now, your comfort zone, as I said, is everything that feels safe, that feels natural to you. But if you think about your comfort zone, there were some things that were previously outside of your comfort zone that are now within your comfort zone. So maybe driving. When you first started to drive, you were scared. You think, oh God, how am I going to do this? There might have been a time where you think, oh, I'm just going to give up. But slowly and surely, you expanded the limits of your comfort zone and it became comfortable. So can anybody tell me something that was outside of their comfort zone, but is now within the realms of their comfort zone? They feel confident in doing it.
Driving, but on a motorway.
Driving on the motorway, okay? Yeah. Anyone else?
Swimming.
Okay, I'm going to give you one of mine. Might be quite surprising. It's cooking. Now, cooking was outside of my comfort zone because I grew up on Iceland frozen food, and that doesn't really make for a healthy diet. So I learned to cook about 5 years ago when I lived with a brilliant housemate who could cook really well. So she taught me to cook, and I feel quite confident about that now. Now, I don't know whether you've ever been on the edge of your comfort zone. I'm sure you have, being Toastmasters, learning to speak in public. When you're on the edge of the comfort zone, it can be quite a scary experience. Sometimes it can be so scary that we get fear. We feel overwhelmed. And sometimes this fear can literally fence us in, which is something I call, dun, 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 the fence of fear. Fear, 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 fear. So I'll give you an example. So maybe you're in a big meeting at work and there's about 20 people and you've never really spoken out much in meetings, you're not that assertive. And you think of something to say, but then you think, if I say this, it's quite controversial what I'm about to say. And if I say this, it might change the whole course of the meeting. And somebody might think this about me. And then that might happen. And then the moment's gone. And you're fenced in by this fear. It's held you back. It's stopped you from going outside of your comfort zone. Now, I know this sense of fear all too well. In fact, for me, it's held me back quite a lot. For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be in public. Speaking, I've done a play before, I've done a belly dancing show to try and get out of my comfort zone and build my confidence. But I think from a very young age, I was always placed out of my comfort zone. When I was about 7 years old, my mum and dad divorced, and my mum whisked me and my sisters away to a new school. And because we're in a new school in a very short space of time, we didn't have time to get new uniforms. So I was in the playground at a school where everybody wore green uniforms, and I was wearing my old blue uniform in the middle of the playground. So I was completely out of my comfort zone. I stuck out like a sore thumb. And I'm sure most of you know my surname, which is Needs. Quite embarrassing when you're a small child and the teacher reads a register and says, "Kerry Needs?" And all the kids turn round and go, "Oh, is that your surname? Oh, what do you need?" So I sat there in class and I'd be like, "Oh, don't look at me. I don't like this name." So I knew this sense of fear all too well. I didn't like the attention on me. If you think about this fear and the limits of your comfort zone, if you all think about your own comfort zones and maybe where the edges of that are, where is it? Where is your comfort zone? Where are the limits of your comfort zone? And where is this fear? Where does it exist? It's actually nowhere in reality. Can't see it, can't measure it. Because the only place this fear really exists is in your mind. So your comfort zone is set by your experiences, but it can also be set by fear, which stems from a lack of belief in your ability to go beyond this. This is safe, and we know we can do it. We have belief in ourselves. But here, we don't know. We've never done it before. It's scary. Like SJ, you might have done a presentation to 10 people, but if your boss comes up to you next month and says, "I'd like you to do a speech in front of 200 people," you might think, "I've never done that before. Can I do it? I'm not sure." But if our comfort zone is set by our minds, then all we need to do in order to overcome it is to use our minds to tell ourselves that we can, to program our minds for self-belief. And we can do this by repetition, by saying, "I can," "I will," or "I am." And we can also remind ourselves that our comfort zone has already been expanding all throughout our lives. We've already brought a lot of things into our comfort zone. So, by telling ourselves, "I can," "I will," and "I am," we can therefore move past this fear, maybe even break down the fence and expand our comfort zone, and therefore build confidence in ourselves. And I'll leave you with the lyrics of a Coldplay song, "Fix You," which says, "If you never try, you'll never know.